Okay, so what I wanted to show you was this, right? I'm calling it a doodle zine. And let me just tell you, be glad I edited this because it took me a hot second to find this. As a scientist by trade, I am super organized with all of that stuff because it's very, this, right? But when it comes to creativity, my creative self, I am a hot mess. But I saw one that said I'm not a hot mess, I'm a spicy disaster. I feel like that's me. But I made this at work like one day when it was very slow over the holidays, and I made a zine, right, out of a really old calendar page hanging on the wall. And I decided what I was gonna do, and I taped it with like masking tape. And I was gonna only use things that were available at work, right? So like when you're sitting there and you're waiting on something, or when you tend to doodle in the margins of stuff, I made myself a zine, which if you don't know what a zine is, let me know. I could show you guys how to make one. It's super easy. And it, it requires no sewing or anything. It just makes a booklet out of one sheet of paper. And I doodled on the pages using what was at work, pens and highlighters. And this was like some kind of like weird wax crayon thing. And then I had the idea that I wanted to do something similar at the house, but I also wanted to use the stuff that I just had laying around, because you guys know I am like the use what you got girl, right? So what I made was this. I'm gonna flip it around to the back. Okay, this is made fully out of scraps of other things, right? Just that I bound together real quick. I just used a quick pamphlet stitch. I was gonna try to staple it because I didn't want to sew it, but the stapler did not fit all the way down there. So I just bound it together, and then I decided I was gonna do something similar, right? A doodle zine for home. And even though this isn't a zine, right? It's a scrap booklet, I guess. So I just have been adding little bits of stuff every day. I don't necessarily do one thing every day. I'll come in like one whole page every day. I'll come in and I'll add a little something. And that's about as far as I've gotten because it's only been a few days. But like one day I came in, I painted the front, and then I painted this. I glued something down and I painted. And then I came in and I added some marker, and then I added I guess some scraps, and then I added some marker, then I added some more paint, then I added another time I came in and I doodled on my little dots. And that's kind of the idea of this, is to sort of art journal, creative journal, creative create, artistically create, do something that doesn't require me to put much thought into it, for the express purpose of just making something. And I see so many people who do stuff like this online, where they'll take just something that they have and they'll work on like one thing a day. They'll just 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, because it's days that you don't have a lot of time, they'll just come in and they'll do one thing. So like one day they would have come in and just made all of the orange dots. And then the next day they'd come in and they'll add a little something else. And so every day you're coming in and you're adding, and it may not end up being anything like what you started with, but it's just a way to incorporate some quick and easy creativity into my everyday, so I don't feel guilty that I'm not consistently working in, my journal, which you guys is like, this is my favorite. I've got a whole idea for this, that once I do it, you guys would think it's hilarious. That I'm not, constantly working in here and doing stuff. And so, I've got that I've been kind of tootling with, and I just had a really good idea. Hang on. Okay, so that one paper that I did where the middles fell out, like, see, I've got, it tore, which is fine, but now I've got these really cool scraps, and I've got this guy. So let's, oh my God, they're still kind of damp. Let's see what kind of creative disaster we can make right now. I think I want to put it here, right? Because I could just, oh my God, look, it's still so wet and globby with paint. Oh my goodness. Right now is a really good time for me to be making these kinds of hot messes because my kids and my husband are not in the house, and I am very rarely left alone because just every time I happen to be home, everybody else is home at the same time. So let's see. This is gonna make the paper all wrinkly because this is just a thin piece of notebook paper over here. I'm gonna have to put my Mod Podge, my glue, into a different container because it just smeared and got blue, I think. Yeah, on my paintbrush. Let me find something to put that in. Oh my God. Ooh, I just had an, y'all, I keep having ideas while I'm up looking for things. Oh my God, I don't want to go far for anything. So my Mod Podge is just gonna go on a card. This is the chaos that I am all about because it has taken me a long time to realize that creativity does not require as much thought as I want to put into it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I used to sit around and agonize over the placement. Like, I would have agonized over the placement of that one piece. And look, and I would have freaked out because that was smearing. And now I really think that doing this has helped me to not be so, I don't know, like strict and conformist with the things that I'm creating. I really, really, really like that. I want something for right here. That's not big enough. Hang on. Oh my God. This whole thing, this whole paper that I did is tearing apart, but that's okay because that was what I was gonna do to it anyway. But like I said, past me would have really been nuts. I don't want that to go. I want it to go that way. Past me would have been nuts about it. She would have been having a mini stroke that every idea was not specifically planned and executed. And so I really think that creative journaling has really helped me to open myself up to more when it comes to creativity because I feel happier when I don't overthink it, you know? I don't have any water to clean my brush. I am literally a mess today. Let's see, I want to put something else on here. I really like that. I'm learning to build up layers. Oh, so speaking of layers, see this, why is it, I have creative ADD. So hold on a second, hold on. I told you guys to hold on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a separate little video about something that I found and I will post that probably in a couple days. But that way you don't have to sit here and watch the whole ADD explosive process of creativity happening at this moment. But I've got stuff that I just found laying on my desk. So while all of this kind of dries, I'm gonna move this. And I am going, you know, I like to stick, you know, the random things into my journal. I have pages where it's just stuff that was laying on my desk. Oh, I thought you guys would think this was fun. I'm weighted for comfort. Me too. Sigh. Me too. My daughter got a weighted stuffed animal and I thought that was funny. The sticker. I was gonna try to, like I said, I find I have pages where things are just on my desk get stuck in here. And I want to stick this in. It's a note from a girl that she left for me on my desk at work. And I couldn't read and she said, I have to step out for a bit. Can you put the samples on for me in the lab? And I was glancing over at it and I thought it was like, I have to step out for a lot. And I was like, okay. we'll see you in a while, I guess. And I was like, oh, it says a bit, not a lot. Duh. Oh my God. I want to put this somewhere. Okay, I'm gonna have to start me a new on the desk page coming up. It's gonna have to go somewhere. Yay, I like that one. I'm not done with that one. Equal rights for others doesn't mean fewer rights for you. It's not pie. That is in the works. I don't know where I'm gonna put this. Ooh, I can maybe stick it on this page. I don't want this whole, no, I'm gonna leave the whole thing because that way I can stick things over the top. I have extra Mod Podge left, so I'm trying to think of some things I can glue down real quick. Let's put her note right here. This note was from one of my coworkers who made, hang on, let me show you what she made for me for Christmas. She made me a pear, a happy pear for Christmas. And she was like, she's very sweet. She was like, you don't have to keep it if you don't want, you know, or you don't have to pick out a stuffed, you know, she made several stuffies for people. And I was like, no, I love it. Anything that's handmade, I love because people took the time, you know, to make something for you. So it makes it special.
I'm the best potato ever. The best ever.